I'm Dirk Parkinson, president of Parkinson Seed Farm. We've been here basically since about 1937 when my grandfather came to the current location that we're at. And he ran this farm as a dry farm until 1967 when my father took over, and my father ran it as a dry farm till 1978 when they had the opportunity to become irrigated. So we pump water out of the Teton River, and we're basically running about 4,500 acres of irrigated ground here. And so at that point in time in 1978, we started irrigating and we raised wheat, and we had some people come in and raise potatoes for us because we'd never raised potatoes. So we watched them raise potatoes for about 4 or 5 years, and then we decided that we'd try it ourselves. So in the summer of 1982, we raised 90 acres of potatoes just to see what we could do, and that worked out pretty good. So in 1983, the next year, we raised 275 acres of certified seed. And then I graduated from high school. So in 1984, I started farming full-time with my dad, and we raised 360 acres in 1984. In 1985, we went to 700 acres, and by 1990, we were raising about 900 to 1,000 acres. And so at that point in time, we stayed at about 900 to 1,000 acres until 1996. Then my father died in 1996. He was killed in a plane crash. And so at that point in time, that was a little bit disconcerting, and I thought, wow, am I going to be able to do this myself? I was 31 at the time. And after I got a year under my belt, I knew I could do this, so we went on, and I built it since then from about 1,000, 1,100 acres clear to 3,000, which is what we're raising now, is about 3,000 acres seed. Basically, right now, I have a CFO. His name's Arlo Weeks, and he does a good job of keeping track of all the money in the books and the scale tickets and the crops and the whole thing. Jake takes care of all. Jake is my oldest son. He's 30. He takes care of all of the storages, and he takes care of the marketing of the potatoes and the shipping of the seed. And we also cut 300,000 plus sacks of seed for our customers, and he's in charge of all that. And so he keeps track of all that. My second oldest son, Josh, is 29. He's in charge of production in the field and making sure that all the crops, both the seed potatoes and the wheat, are raised properly and proper yields and whatnot. He is also in charge of the shop and all the repairs, and that would be here on the home farm. In 1994, we went to the Persimmon Valley and bought a farm there to raise early generation seed, and my brother, who's 2.5 years younger than me, runs that farm, and that's where we get a good portion of our seed potatoes to raise here on the home farm. In 2010, we got to where that farm wasn't quite able to produce enough seed to cover our needs, and so we rented some ground from my brother in the Persimmon for 3 seasons out in on a place called Sulphur Creek there in the Persimmon Valley, where we raised some early generation seeds so that we could supply our needs. And then we grew enough at that wasn't big enough anymore. So in 2014, I bought a farm in Downey, and also renting a farm in salmon, and I'm raising mini tubers and G1s in salmon, and I'm raising G1s and G2s in Downey, and that allows me to raise mainly G2s here at home and some G3s also, and that allows us to do probably 40 plus varieties that we're now marketing. I also have my son Judd, who's 24, managing our Downey farm, and then my son-in-law Ethan Herigfeld, who's 26, managing the salmon farm. And so the most important crop we grow are kids and grandkids around here, and I'm telling you what, that's a big deal. And as big as we are still pretty much a family organization. And so it's all about family. And if you can't work with your family, it's really not worth doing.